I've had it. Hi, I'm Greg Gutfeld, along with Judge Jeanine Pirro, Jessica Tarloff, Jesse Waters, and Jillian Turner, the Five. J.D. Vance crashing the Harris-Walz campaign tour as they hit up battleground states Michigan and Wisconsin, the first stops on their swing state heist. But Trump's V-pick was tailing them like a bloodhound, with their planes literally sharing the tarmac today. So Vance figured he ought to do the media's job, rolling up to Kamala's plane to ask why she's been dodging the press for the past 17 days.
I just wanted to check out my future plane, but I also wanted to go say hello to the vice president and ask her why Kamala Harris why does she refuse to answer questions from the media? And I also thought that the press gaggle following her might get a little lonely.
Harris-Walz are trying to sell Americans on their tampons for boys' vision of America, but somehow you're the weird one.
They are creepy and weird as hell. You see it. You see it. This is not normal. This is not normal behavior. Donald Trump, he sees the world differently than we see it. He has no understanding of service, because he's too busy servicing himself.
I will proudly put my record against his any day of the week. Donald Trump has openly vowed if reelected, he will be a dictator on day one. Someone who suggests we should terminate the Constitution of the United States should never again have a chance to stand behind the seal of the President of the United States.
Lovely. Walz was on fire, just like the Twin Cities in 2020. But if the Dems want to play the weird game, Hillary is getting her freak on by tweeting out and embracing the tampon Tim meme that right-wingers have been sharing. It's a reference to a bill that Tim Walz signed last year, putting menstrual products in all restrooms in schools. But Hill Dog is trying to own it, saying, quote, how nice of the Trump camp to help publicize Governor Tim Walz's compassionate and common sense policy of providing free menstrual products to students in Minnesota public schools. Let's do this everywhere. Hear, hear, I say, Jesse. Tampons for boys. That's why I'm going to vote. But once again, what you're seeing, Jesse, is the pre-projection that liberals do. They project onto you what they know they will soon be defined as. Weird. Yeah. So they started saying Vance is weird, Vance is weird, Vance is weird, and then you hear about the pushing tampons for boys or making it easier for trans surgeries for kids. Who's the weird one?
Tampon Tim honeymoons in China and shakes his wife's hand. What a weird dude. And remember, like last week, they say J.D. Vance was a bad pick? This guy is a COVID snitch line. Guys, they're playing lacrosse outside without masks on. What a freak. This guy destroyed Minneapolis. He's on the ticket with the lady that destroyed San Francisco. This guy might be... They might have sabotaged this ticket on purpose. Eric Holder's in charge of vetting. Eric Holder's a pretty sharp dude. He didn't notice that this guy lied about not serving in war. He didn't notice that this guy... basically told people that he was carrying a gun in a war zone. They have people now who served in his unit calling this guy a coward, saying he abandoned us right when we needed him. He was about to be deployed to Iraq and then was like, guys, you know what, I quit. And then got demoted, then lied about his rank, and then said he went to war. People have lost careers over that type of lie. And this is one of those things that people, if you're a Republican or if you're a Democrat, this cuts through everything. You see a guy like this and you don't trust him. And you can't trust him with money. It was the biggest COVID fraud state in the country. And just let's talk about tampon Tim for a second. Just think about what you need to do to lose money. Let's say one guy's menstruating. Okay, one male is menstruating in Minnesota. All right? Instead of just having this one male who happens to be menstruating ask one of his girlfriends if he could borrow a tampon from their bathroom, no. He spends hundreds of thousands of dollars stocking boys' bathrooms with tampons. Hundreds of thousands of dollars. What kind of disrespect is that to the taxpayer? Save the money. don't stock tampons in boys' bathrooms.
You know, Jillian, Jesse surprisingly makes a good point. There has to be a reason why. There has to be a reason why they chose this clown, and it's the law of diminishing competence, right? So it's like always the main character chooses somebody not as competent as they are. For example, Obama chose Biden, and then Biden had to choose Kamala. Now Kamala has to choose Walz.
Could you say menstruating one more time?
I know. I think I've said that more times than I care to.
I hope no one's playing a drinking game.
How toxic is that they put the word men in that?
I have a theory about why the vice president chose Governor Walz as her running mate. I could very easily be wrong. This is my own personal take. But if you think about it, I think it was more about her opportunity to strike out on her own than it was about any electoral strategy. If you're Kamala Harris, you are handed Biden's record to defend. You are handed your senior staff at the White House. You are handed your campaign platform. You are handed your campaign staff all the way up to the top. With 3 months to go, she has had very little say in anything that's going on so far in terms of her own presidential process.
She's not saying anything.
She wanted to go with Walz. I think it was an emotional, a sort of heart pick rather than a head pick. What?
Is that what you're saying? She's emotional, so she chose this guy?
Yes, and she's menstruating.
I don't like what you're saying, Jillian. Please.
No, but I think
this
was her chance to strike out on her own and do what she wanted to do. And I think she likes Walz. They're friends. She trusts him, and she was like, "I'm doing this. This is my one chance to do something."